Hey guys, Kyle the Death Knight of Anime here, bringing you my review for One Piece Chapter 906. And right off the bat, we get a beautiful landscape reintroduction to Marie Joie. And apparently, all this time, the anime and apparently some manga translations have interpreted the name differently than how Oda's actually been trying to spell it, which is basically Mary, Mary, Joie, Geois, rather than Marie Joie, like Mariejois. Like, I guess, yeah, I guess pretty much all the translations we've seen of Marie Joie up to this point have basically been wrong, and I can kind of, anime wise and whatnot, I can kind of see this creating a bit of a translation error down the line, but I suppose we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, it's just I guess basically apologies are in order, Oda. Yeah, I'm completely sorry for that. I apologize on behalf of everyone who's all the people who've translated the name of Marie Joie wrong, I guess. Although I do gotta say, like I said, the design of Marie Joie again the landscape design of Marie Joie is definitely is very nice looking for sure. And it's always been good with just his location, with designing locations. So yeah, I mean it looks basically the same as every other time, but just that added touch really kind of adds to it for me. And okay, so you know what? I'm just gonna jump way ahead to the end of this chapter. And yeah, the end of this chapter was a thing that happened. Honestly, I'm kind of speechless. Like, I have no words about what the fuck I just saw. I mean, if I understand it correctly, the holy treasure is a straw hat. And I'm not sure if it's like if that's specifically Luffy's straw hat or if it's someone else's straw hat, but or if just the straw hat in question is connected to the actual treasure. But like, Oda, what is I I'm not I'm literally not sure what to think about this. I'm really not. I'm completely like, okay, I guess to a certain degree it makes the only thing that comes to mind right off the bat is that is that the treasure is somehow connected to basically those who defy God, the D's, and and the straw hat. Like, the straw hat and the D's are somehow connected to the holy treasure. That's the only thing that comes to mind right now. But like, I'm this is one of those reveals that, again, just, and I guess in a way it makes sense considering how much, when you look back on the series, how much focus Oda has actually put on Luffy's straw hat. But it's like, what is his plan here? A straw hat is being hidden underneath Marie Joie. Like, what? Huh? I I genuinely, this is again another reason as to why One Piece is so great, because it keeps us fucking guessing. And this right now is like, yo, what is this connected to? Like, what's the purpose of the straw hat now? Like, I genuinely want to know what exactly the purpose of Luffy's straw hat is going to have in the overall story of One Piece. And it's like, Oda, um, you, Oda, you're just. People have basically said it before that, as of right now, I I genuinely think that One Piece is like, people have already said it before. Other anime YouTubers have said it before, but right now, I'm inclined to believe that with twists and turns like this, One Piece could be considered like basically the cream of the crop shonen manga at this point. Like, One Piece is basically untouchable with shit like this. And yeah, Oda. I'm not sure where you're going with this, but whatever you do, you just have me completely fascinated and glued to your manga now. Like I was glued to it. I've been glued to it since like the beginning, but it's like, yeah, I'm not sure what Oda's planning, but uh, it's like it's and actually even more so it makes me wonder. Okay, so a straw hat is underneath. So that this basically also makes me think that Oda or that Roger himself was also aware of what exactly the Nash of what the national treasure was. He was aware of that too. So that this just adds a whole new layer of what Roger and anyone else who has ever held a straw hat know of what the national treasure is like. Of course, Luffy doesn't know because he because of course his straw hat was passed on to Shanks, but to him by Shanks. But yeah, it's like what exactly what exactly does Shanks know? Because he was on Roger's crew, so obviously Shanks would probably know something about this, but yeah, what exactly what this honestly even actually adds a whole new layer to Roger's execution. Like, what kind of secrets died with Roger? That right there is just like a prime focus for me right now. Like, what exactly did Roger know? How much? Yeah, just this. I know I'm probably overanalyzing it, but this whole Straw Hat reveal just has me so intrigued somehow now. But yeah. Um. Anyway, moving on. One thing I really like about this chapter was just seeing characters from past arcs of the series interact off each other because it shows basically the kind of effect that Luffy has had on the world around him and the world at large, whether for good or bad. And I feel the most positive light of this was shown when we see Vivi, Rebecca, and Shihoshi all conversing with each other about their encounters with Luffy and how he's basically changed their lives for the better. And I wouldn't be surprised if they actually have larger roles here than in their own arcs, because as royalty they do have sway. Maybe not as much as King or Queen, but they can still play a major role in this arc for sure. And the fact that they went through that they've developed. I assume since basically Luffy ended up saving their respective kingdoms, I can only assume that they are going to do something that is going to like change the that is going to change like how this whole reverie plays out. And we also have to remember too that Shirahoshi is Poseidon, one of the ancient weapons. So you know that's going to definitely be a conversation starter for sure. And I'm not sure whether or not King Neptune is actually going to reveal it or not, but it is just because if he just flats out reveals it, but then it's going to be a little bit of a then it's going to be then people are going to start targeting her for sure at that reverie, Shiroshi at that reverie. So the way I see it going right now in terms of Shiroshi's connection to this is that I think Neptune and his sons are going to keep Shirahoshi as Poseidon under wraps, but I think once I think with I think once pretty much once I think pretty much I think once Cobra basically brings up basically the Void Century and the ancient weapons into the conversation, I think that's probably at the point where Neptune might inevitably chime in as a form of trust between the royalties and whatnot. And yeah, but either way, Shirahoshi is definitely going to be Shirahoshi and Cobra are going to be definitely conversation starters in this reverie for sure. So I think they're the ones in terms of royalty to keep an eye on. On the flip side, though, we get introduced to characters I was not happy to see again, like Charlos, who I'm still surprised he's not fucking dead after what Luffy did to him. And Wapple, although I will admit, even though it was played up for laughs, Wapple's warning the Dalton seems a lot like foreshadowing that Wapple's going to do something at this meeting to discredit the Sakura Kingdom and make them enemies of the world government or something. Because which I am curious what he's going to do, seeing as how the Sakura Kingdom, I assume, is already on shaky ground with the government, seeing as how their country's flag is a Jolly Roger at this point, and like it's one of those things where I almost assume he will, but this is one thing I really want Oda to address because of all the kingdoms at this reverie, the Sakura Kingdom is the one on the most thin ice because at least the other kingdoms can keep their at least the other kingdoms that have gotten involved with Luffy in the past, like Alabasta and Dressrosa and Fishman Island, at least they can kind of keep their involvement with Luffy under wraps. But Dalton could be considered a rebel, but depending on how Wapple plays this, Dalton could be considered a rebel element from assuming power almost immediately, from basically assuming power almost immediately after Luffy defeated Wapple. So yeah, whatever, like Dalton is going to be one of the prime. I think Dalton, if there are any prime targets at this reverie, then it's going to be Shirahoshi and Dalton for sure, honestly. And yeah, I'm sorry. I know I keep writing this, but again, how the hell did Charlos survive? Seriously, how the like honestly, I guess Marie Joie must have some top tier doctors or something, cause no way a pompous little shitbag like him could survive a punch from Luffy. Like it's just impossible. It really is impossible, and especially with how hard Luffy hits too. Although with the way he's, although I will say with the way he's eyeing Shirahoshi, to me spells and trouble. And we know how the guy is about mermaids, but so obviously he's gonna plot some retarded plan or something like that. He's got some retarded plot up his sleeves. Although I hope it's played up for mere comic relief and not an actual threat. But we'll have to wait and see. But just like whatever the guy's got planned, I'm sorry, it's gonna be hard for me to take him any kind of seriously. It really fucking is. I'm just not sure how this is gonna play out. But yeah, guys, that's my review. If you enjoyed the